Turn off the lights, turn off your heaters, and listen to me from the darkness. Because what we discussed yesterday, the banks refusing to give you your silver, was just a financial crisis. But what we are facing right now is the end of civilization as we know it. I have just seen a technical report leaked from the dusty shelves of the Department of Energy, a report that has been hidden from the public at all costs. Everyone said the future would be electric. Everyone said the sun would save us. Everyone said that by 2030 the world would be a green paradise. That was a lie. Government sold you a paradise built with a metal that does not exist. The cover of the report does not say green transition. It says systemic failure and blackout. Solar panels do not run on the promises of politicians. They run on silver, and that silver is gone. Do you know what this means? This means the plug has been pulled on Apple. This means the plug has been pulled on Tesla. And most terrifying of all, the plug has been pulled on the power grid itself. Industrial giants are currently in a state of panic, throttling each other for the last remaining gram of silver just to keep their factories from shutting down. This video is not investment advice. This is your last warning before we return to the Stone Age. It is officially over. For years, we have sat here and speculated. We have looked at the charts, we have looked at the open interest, and we have guessed. We have said one day the physical reality of physics would overtake the paper reality of finance. We said that you cannot print energy. We said that you cannot print conductivity. But up until this morning, the market ignored us. The market believed in the infinite elasticity of supply. The market believed that if the price went up a few dollars, miners would just dig more out of the ground. Well, stop guessing, stop speculating, because the laws of physics just handed the global economy an eviction notice. The body has been found, ladies and gentlemen. While you were worried about your bank account, something much more important, much darker, and much more terrifying was happening in the supply chains of the global energy sector, something that the mainstream media is terrified to report because it proves without a shadow of a doubt that the Green New Deal is mathematically impossible. We just received confirmation from industry insiders in Seoul and Shenzhen that major photovoltaic manufacturers have halted production lines. Not slowed down, halted, stopped, silence on the factory floor. Why? Because they ran out of silver paste. Silver paste is the magic glue that makes a solar panel work. It is the conduit that takes the photon from the sun and turns it into the electron in your wire. Without silver paste, a solar panel is just a sheet of expensive glass. It is useless. And here is the technological reality that the politicians forgot to mention. There is no alternative. Silver is the most conductive metal on the periodic table of elements. It is atomic number 47. You cannot replace it with copper. Copper oxidizes and the panel fails in 5 years. You cannot replace it with aluminum. Aluminum has too much resistance and the panel loses efficiency. You need silver. It is non-negotiable. The entire premise of the Net Zero 2030 plan, the entire fantasy of saving the planet from climate change, rested on one assumption. That assumption was that we could get infinite amounts of cheap silver from China and Mexico. That assumption just died. The Chinese export ban didn't just hurt bankers, it decapitated the solar industry. Let's look at the numbers because the math is apocalyptic. To meet the global targets for solar energy installation by 2050, the world would need to consume approximately 90% of the current global silver reserves. Not production, reserves. That means almost all the silver left in the crust of the Earth. And that assumes that we stop making jewelry. That assumes we stop making electronics. That assumes we stop making missiles. But we are not stopping those things. We are making more of them. So we have a situation where demand is vertical and supply is zero. This is what we call an inelastic shatter point. The solar companies cannot simply choose not to buy silver. If they don't buy silver, they don't have a product. If they don't have a product, their stock goes to zero.
so they will pay any price. They have to.
This morning, we are seeing reports of panic buying in the industrial spot market. Samsung, LG, First Solar, these companies are not looking at the COMEX price. They don't care if the screen says $30. They are bidding directly for physical delivery at prices that would make your eyes water. We are hearing rumors of deals being done at premiums of 200% above spot. Why? Because the cost of silver, even at $500 an ounce, is still a small fraction of the total cost of a solar farm. But without it, the billion-dollar solar farm generates zero electricity. This is the definition of a cornered market. The industrial users are cornered, the governments are cornered, and the only people holding the exit key are the people holding physical silver. The price explosion we are about to see will not be driven by speculation. It will be driven by existential industrial desperation. And let's talk about the consequences for you. You might say, I don't care about solar panels, I drive a gas truck. You should care, because the grid you rely on, the grid that keeps your food cold and your house warm, is increasingly dependent on these panels. If the replacement parts stop coming, the grid destabilizes. If the new capacity doesn't come online, the brownouts begin. We are looking at an energy crisis that makes the 1970s oil embargo look like a minor inconvenience. Because in the 1970s, we could just drill more oil. Today, we cannot just drill more silver. It takes 10 years to bring a new mine online. 10 years. We don't have 10 years. We have maybe 10 weeks of inventory left in the global supply chain. The green lie has been exposed. Western governments promised to transition away from fossil fuels, but they failed to secure the strategic metals required to build the bridge. They burned the boat before they built the bridge, and now we are all drowning in the middle of the river.
This is why I say that silver is not just money. Silver is energy. Silver is civilization. If you hold silver, you are not just holding a hedge against inflation. You are holding a barrel of oil equivalent. You are holding a kilowatt hour of electricity. You are holding the raw material of the future. And the market is starting to wake up to this. Look at the stock prices of the solar companies this morning. They are crashing. Why? Because the smart money knows they can't get the metal. They know that forward earnings are impossible if you can't build the product. The capital is fleeing the tech stocks and the green stocks. And where is it going? It is going into the commodities. It is going into the miners. It is going into the physical metal. This is the great rotation, the rotation from fantasy to reality. The fantasy was that we could print money and solve physics problems. The reality is that physics always wins, and physics demands silver. The industrial panic is compounding the monetary panic. We have two fires burning at the same time. On one side, investors are fleeing the dollar because of the bank failures. On the other side, industry is fleeing the paper market because of the supply failure. These two fires are merging into a firestorm. When a Tesla factory manager realizes he can't get silver for the circuit boards in the Model Y, he doesn't call a broker. He calls a refinery and offers cash up front. He bypasses the entire financial system. This creates a price vacuum. The official price becomes irrelevant because no metal moves at that price. The real price is discovered in private phone calls and secret contracts. We are witnessing the death of the globalized just-in-time manufacturing model. That model worked when resources were cheap and plentiful. In a resource-constrained world, efficiency is death, redundancy is life, inventory is wealth. The companies that have silver will survive. The companies that don't will die. It is Darwinian economics at its most brutal.
And you are watching it happen in real time. You are watching the dismantling of the post-World War II industrial order. The West deindustrialized. We sent our factories to China. We sent our pollution to China. We thought we were smart. We thought we could just be a service economy. We thought we could just design the iPhone and let someone else build it. But you can't design an iPhone without silver. You can't run a cloud server without silver. You can't have a digital economy without a physical foundation. And we sold our foundation to the lowest bidder. Now the bidder is closing the store. The ramifications of this are going to ripple through every aspect of your life. The cost of electronics is going to skyrocket. The cost of electricity is going to skyrocket. The availability of goods is going to plummet. We are entering an era of scarcity. But for the prepared, this is not a tragedy. It is an opportunity. If you saw this coming, if you listened to the warnings, if you stacked silver when it was cheap and hated, you are now sitting on the only asset that the world absolutely needs and cannot print. You are the new oil baron. You are the new energy tycoon. Because in a world where the lights are going out, the man holding the silver is the man holding the switch. In the next part of this video, I am going to dive deeper into the specific companies that are on the brink of collapse. I am going to name names. I am going to show you the internal memos from the automotive industry that prove they are shutting down lines. And I am going to explain why the recycling market, the idea that we can just melt down old phones to get the silver back, is a complete myth that will not save us. The green dream is dead. The silver reality is here, and the price is about to go vertical. If you think the solar situation is a nightmare, wait until you look at the driveway. The death of the solar industry is just the first domino. The second domino, the one that is wobbling right now and about to crush the entire global manufacturing base, is the electric vehicle industry. The politicians told you to buy an EV. They banned the internal combustion engine in Europe by 2035. They subsidized Tesla. They subsidized Ford. They bet the entire future of personal transportation on the battery. But they made a fatal miscalculation. They forgot that an electric car is essentially a rolling computer wrapped in a solar panel. It is a silver vampire. A traditional gas car uses maybe 15 to 20 grams of silver. It is used in the window switches, the seat motors, the basic electronics. But an electric vehicle, an EV, is a beast. Between the battery management system, the electric motor contacts, the autonomous driving sensors, and the miles of high-voltage cabling, a modern EV consumes up to 50, sometimes 60 grams of silver. That is 3 times the consumption of a gas car. And they want to replace every gas car on the planet with an EV? Do the math. There is not enough silver in the known universe to replace the global fleet of internal combustion engines with electric ones. It is physically impossible. I have sources in Detroit who are telling me that the assembly lines are already stuttering. I saw a memo from a major U.S. automaker this morning. It was marked Urgent Supply Chain Disruption. It detailed a shortage of silver-plated connectors for their new flagship electric truck. They are not shipping trucks. They are parking them in giant lots, thousands of them, waiting for a part that contains maybe $5 worth of silver. Think about the insanity of that. A $70,000 truck is sitting, rotting in a field because they cannot find a thimble full of silver. This is the concept of the golden screw, or in this case, the silver solder. In complex manufacturing, you cannot finish the product if you are missing one single component. You can have the steel, the rubber, the glass, the lithium, and the plastic, but if you don't have the silver to connect the circuit that tells the car to start, you have a brick. You don't have a vehicle. You have a very expensive paperweight. And this brings us to the most dangerous myth in the entire green energy narrative, the myth of recycling. Whenever I talk about the silver shortage, someone in the comments always says, "John, don't worry, we will just recycle the old electronics. We will melt down the old iPhones. We will strip the silver from the old solar panels. It is a closed-loop system." That is a lie. That is a fantasy told by people who do not understand thermodynamics or economics. We are not living in a closed loop. We are living in an entropy machine. Let me explain why the recycling myth is going to get us all killed. Silver, unlike gold, is an industrial metal. When you buy a gold coin, you put it in a safe. It sits there. It doesn't change. 100 years later, it is still a gold coin. Gold is hoarded. It is almost never consumed. But silver? Silver is used. It is consumed. It is destroyed. When silver is used in a missile and that missile explodes, the silver is vaporized. It is gone. It is dusted over the desert. You cannot recycle a Tomahawk missile that has already detonated. When silver is used in a bandage for its antimicrobial properties, it ends up in the trash. It ends up in a landfill. It is mixed with biological waste. You are not going to mine the city dump to recover microscopic particles of silver from dirty bandages. And what about electronics? Yes, there is silver in your iPhone, but do you know how much? Milligrams. It is plated in layers so thin they are measured in microns. To get that silver back, you have to shred the phone, burn the plastic, dissolve the metals in toxic acid, and then use massive amounts of electricity to refine it. The cost of the energy and the labor to recover that silver is often higher than the value of the silver itself. This is called economic entropy. Unless silver goes to $500 an ounce, it is simply not profitable to recycle most of the e-waste in the world. So where does it go? It goes to the landfill in Ghana. It goes to the bottom of the ocean. It is lost to humanity forever. But wait, say the optimists, what about the solar panels? They have a lot of silver. Yes, they do. But here's the problem with the timeline. A solar panel has a lifespan of 20 to 25 years. The solar boom started maybe 10 years ago. That means the vast majority of the silver we have mined in the last decade is currently bolted to roofs in California and fields in Germany. It is locked up. You cannot recycle it because it is currently in use. We won't get that silver back until 2035 or 2040. But we need silver today. We need it right now to build the next generation of panels.
We have created a trap. We've locked our seed corn in the silo and lost the key. The recycling supply is a trickle, but the demand is a flood. We are currently consuming silver faster than we can mine it, and we're throwing away half of what we consume because it is too expensive to recover. We are burning the furniture to heat the house. This leads us to the terrifying economic concept of price inelasticity. This is the mechanism that will drive silver to the moon. Inelasticity means that the buyer does not care about the price. They are insensitive to it. Let's go back to that $70,000 electric truck. It needs 50 grams of silver. At $30 an ounce, that is about $50 worth of silver. It is a rounding error. It is nothing. Now imagine silver goes to $300 an ounce. Now the silver in the truck costs roughly $1,500. Does Ford shut down the factory? Does Toyota fire all its workers? No, because the alternative is bankruptcy. They will pay $1,000 an ounce. They will pay $2,000 an ounce. They will pay whatever it takes because the silver is a tiny fraction of the total cost, but it is 100% essential for the operation. This is why the price of silver has no ceiling. In a shortage, the price is determined by the pain threshold of the most desperate buyer. And right now, the most desperate buyers are the biggest companies on Earth. Apple, Tesla, Samsung, Raytheon. These companies have cash piles that dwarf the GDP of small countries. They can outbid you. They can outbid the coin shop. They can outbid the jewelry maker. When Apple decides it needs silver for the iPhone 17, they will sweep the global market. They will buy every bar in London. They will buy every bar in Zurich, and they won't even blink at the price. This leaves nothing for the small investor. It leaves nothing for the retail market. This is the unobtainium phase. The metal becomes unobtainable at any price for the common man because it has all been absorbed by the industrial vacuum cleaner. And the government knows this. They know the recycling narrative is a lie. They know the strategic stockpile is empty. Yes, that's right.
The US government used to hold billions of ounces of silver in the strategic stockpile. Do you know how much they have today? Zero. They sold it all. They sold it to suppress the price. They sold it to make coins. They sold the family jewels to pay for a night on the town. Now, the enemy is at the gate, the war is starting, and the armory is empty. This is criminal negligence on a civilizational scale. They mandated a technology that requires a resource they did not secure. It is like mandating that everyone must breathe underwater but refusing to manufacture scuba tanks. It is a death sentence. The collapse of the green energy dream is not just about expensive cars or dark solar panels. It is about the failure of the central planning model. The bureaucrats in Brussels and Washington thought they could dictate reality. They thought they could legislate physics. They passed laws saying, "Let there be green energy," but they forgot to pass a law saying, "Let there be silver mines." It takes 10 years to permit and build a new mine. Even if silver goes to $500 tomorrow and every mining company on Earth starts digging, that new metal won't hit the market until 2035. We have a 10-year gap, a decade of darkness, a decade where the supply simply does not exist to meet the demand. What happens in that gap? Chaos. The price disconnects from reality. The paper market burns down because there is no metal to back the contracts. The physical market becomes a private club for billionaires and corporations, and the green energy revolution grinds to a humiliating halt. Wind turbines stop turning because the silver contacts in the gearboxes wear out and can't be replaced. Solar farms degrade and go offline. The grid becomes unstable. Rolling blackouts become the norm, not the exception. This is the future they built for you. A future of scarcity, a future of rationing, a future where you were told to set your thermostat to 60 degrees in the winter because there isn't enough silver to build the solar panels to power the heat pump they forced you to buy. But there is a flip side to this disaster. If you hold silver, you are holding the antidote. You are holding the one thing that can fix the problem. You are holding the missing link. As the price explodes, your wealth explodes. But more importantly, your power explodes. In a world of scarcity, the person with the resources is the king. The industrial giants will eventually come to you. They will have to. We are already seeing cash for clunkers style programs being discussed, but for silver. Turn in your silverware, save the planet. Sell us your coins, keep the lights on. They will beg for it. And when they beg, you will name your price. But we must look deeper at the corporate carnage that is unfolding. I mentioned the memo from Detroit, but the situation in Japan and Germany is even worse. Toyota, the master of supply chain management, the inventor of just-in-time, is reportedly quietly buying into mining companies. They are trying to vertically integrate. They are trying to become miners because they know the open market is broken. Volkswagen is doing the same. We are seeing a shift from global trade to resource nationalism. Countries are hoarding their metal. Companies are hoarding their metal. The free flow of goods is over. If you are a silver investor, you are sitting in the middle of a resource war, and you are the arms dealer. You have the ammunition that everyone needs. Don't let them gaslight you with the recycling myth. Don't let them tell you that asteroid mining will save us. That is science fiction. The reality is here, on Earth, in the ground, and in your safe. The reality is that we have hit the geological limit of silver extraction at current prices. The only way to get more silver is for the price to go high enough to make it profitable to mine the deep, dangerous, low-grade ore that we have ignored for decades. And that price is not $30. It is not $50. It is triple digits.
The death of green energy is the birth of the Silver Age, an age where reality asserts its dominance over fantasy, an age where hard assets crush paper promises. You are witnessing the great repricing. Everything you thought you knew about the value of energy, the value of money, and the value of metal is about to change. In the final part of this video, I am going to talk about the grid down scenario. What happens when the shortage hits the power plants? What happens when the transformers fail and there is no silver to fix them? And most importantly, how do you prepare for a world where energy is a luxury good? We are moving from the investment thesis to the survival thesis, because when the lights go out, your stock portfolio won't matter, but your silver stack might just save your life.
We have arrived at the final and most terrifying chapter of this saga. We have talked about the death of the solar industry. We have talked about the collapse of the electric vehicle assembly lines. These are economic disasters, certainly. It is inconvenient if you cannot buy a new car. It is expensive if you cannot put solar panels on your roof. But what I am about to tell you now is not about inconvenience. It is about survival. We are moving from the factory floor to the living room. We are talking about the grid down scenario. Most people do not understand how the electrical grid works. They think it is just copper wires strung between wooden poles. They think that as long as the coal plant burns coal or the dam spins water, the lights will turn on. They are wrong. The modern electrical grid is the most complex machine ever built by human hands. It is millions of miles of synchronized chaos, and the only thing that keeps that chaos from turning into a catastrophic meltdown is a series of millions of tiny, precision-engineered switches, circuit breakers, relays, contacts. And what are those contacts made of? They are made of silver. Silver cadmium oxide, silver tungsten, silver graphite. Every time a high-voltage switch opens or closes to route power to your neighborhood, it relies on the unique arc-suppressing properties of silver. If you use copper, the switch welds shut. If you use aluminum, it burns. You must use silver. It is the only metal that can handle the thermal shock of the grid without failing. Here is the nightmare scenario that the Department of Energy is hiding from you. The U.S. electrical grid is old. It is crumbling. The average transformer is 40 years old. The average circuit breaker is past its service life. We are currently in a cycle where we need to replace a massive amount of infrastructure just to keep the lights on, but we have hit the silver wall. The utility companies are quiet about this, but I have seen the internal procurement orders. They are facing lead times of 50, 60, sometimes 80 weeks for critical high-voltage replacement parts. Why? Because the manufacturers of those parts cannot get the industrial silver they need. They are competing with Apple. They are competing with Tesla. And the utility companies, which are regulated public monopolies with fixed budgets, are losing that bidding war. So what happens? They stop doing preventative maintenance. They run the equipment to failure. They cross their fingers and hope the transformer lasts one more summer, one more winter. But hope is not an engineering strategy. Eventually, physics catches up. A switch fails, a breaker fuses, a substation explodes. In a normal world, you would replace the part in 24 hours. In the world of the silver shortage, the replacement part does not exist. It is on back order for 2 years. This is how you get a permanent blackout, not a storm that knocks out power for a day. We are talking about structural failure. We are talking about neighborhoods, then cities, then entire regions going dark for weeks or months because the physical hardware required to route the electricity is simply not available. The politicians talk about the smart grid. They want to install billions of smart meters, sensors, and automated switches to make the grid more efficient. It sounds great on paper. But every single one of those smart devices is a silver-hungry electronic component. The smart grid is a silver grid.
By pushing for this digitization of energy without securing the silver supply, they have built a fragile glass house on a foundation of sand. When the grid goes down, civilization as we know it ends in 72 hours. Without electricity, the gas pumps don't work, the trucks stop moving, the grocery stores empty out, the water treatment plants stop pumping, the sewage treatment plants stop processing. Disease spreads, panic sets in a world where the government has confiscated your wealth and the banks have stolen your savings, the loss of power is the final straw that breaks the back of society. This is the energy apartheid. We are moving into a world where energy becomes a luxury good. The rich, the corporations, the government elites, they will have their own microgrids. They will have private solar arrays built with the last of the hoarded silver. They will have battery backups. They will have lights and heat. You, the average citizen, will be left in the dark, told to put on a sweater, told to conserve for the greater.
But if you hold silver, you hold the key to the exit. I said before that silver is energy. Let me be specific. In a collapse scenario, silver becomes the ultimate barter chip for energy. If you have a stack of silver coins, you can trade for a generator, you can trade for fuel, you can trade for the labor to install a wood stove. You are holding the stored value that allows you to buy your way out of the darkness. The wealth transfer we are witnessing is not just about numbers on a screen, it is a transfer of lifestyle. The people who trusted the paper system will see their standard of living collapse to 19th century levels. They will be cold, they will be hungry, they will be immobile. The people who trusted the physical reality, the people who stacked silver, will maintain their standard of living. You will be the ones who can afford the exorbitant prices of the new energy reality. This is why the industrial demand is inelastic. This is why the price will go to infinity, because the alternative to paying the price is the end of modern life. If a utility company has to choose between paying $5,000 an ounce for silver to fix a breaker or letting a city go dark and facing riots, they will pay the $5,000. They will print the money to pay for it, and that printed money will cause hyperinflation, which will make your silver worth even more in nominal terms. It is a feedback loop of doom for the dollar and a rocket ship for silver. You need to prepare for this mentally. The green energy narrative is dead. It was killed by the laws of supply and demand. What comes next is the survival energy narrative. It is going to be dirty. We will burn coal, we will burn wood, we will do whatever we have to do to stay warm, but the high-tech, efficient, renewable future is canceled due to a lack of materials. Those who are unprepared will beg the government to save them, and the government will offer a solution. They will say, we will give you electricity, but you must accept the digital ID. You must accept the CBDC. You must accept the rationing. They will use the energy crisis to enslave you. But you, the silver stacker, you have the ability to say no. You have the ability to be independent, because you hold the asset that the system needs more than it needs your compliance. You can trade your silver for land with a running stream. You can trade it for a year's supply of propane. You have options. The man with gold and silver always has options. The man with paper has only obedience. So, what is the final verdict? The solar panels are dead. The EVs are bricked. The grid is dying. The banks are bankrupt. The government is confiscating. It sounds like the end of the world, but it is only the end of their world, the world of lies, the world of debt, the world of paper. For us, it is the beginning. It is the beginning of the great reset of truth. We are returning to a world where value is determined by utility and scarcity, not by government decree. Do not sell your silver for fiat currency. I cannot stress this enough. If silver goes to $100, do not sell. If it goes to $500, do not sell. Why would you trade a strategic energy asset for a dying paper currency? Only trade your silver for real things. Trade it for a farm.
Trade it for a business. Trade it for your freedom. The window is closing. The supply is gone. The panic is starting. You are now the custodian of one of the rarest and most critical elements on this planet. Guard it with your life. Hide it well, and do not let them gaslight you into giving it up. You were right. The math was always on your side. Physics was always on your side. And now, history is on your side. The lights are going out for the establishment, but for you, the dawn is just breaking. Stay safe, stay stacked, and never surrender your mettle.